Hello and welcome back to Anywhere But Here, episode 297. My name is Tom.
And my name's Anne.
And you can find us at anywherebuthere.com. No, you can't. You can find us at abhpod.com, where if you scroll down a little bit, there's an Amazon banner. If you click onto that Amazon banner, it will take you through to amazon.co.uk, where you can do all your shopping as you usually do, because you can get everything on Amazon and you're all doing it. So if you're there, you just click through our little link. It takes you to Amazon. Nothing changes about the user experience. You don't spend any more money, but we get 5% of your total basket spend with Amazon, which doesn't go to Amazon. It comes to us, and we can use it to keep our web hosting for the year.
It'd be nice if our other halves used the Amazon banner when they did their online shopping.
Wouldn't it?
More on that later. Also, if you want to support us on a more regular basis, more regular schedule, I don't know, support us by going to Patreon. The banner's right near the Amazon one, for just as little as $1 a month. That's all we've set up. There is no tiered system. It's just one level that we've set up. You get extra content. You get this episode without the intro. You also get a video as well. You can watch us talk, and you can watch me gesticulate as I'm talking. You get after the podcast, which are exclusive to our patrons. You get spoiler casts the week we record them, rather than having to wait for them to come out as filler episode on the main feed. On all the audio content gets delivered via an RSS feed that is specific to you. You just put it into your podcast app, and then you get the artwork with the gold thumb, and then you get all the extra content along with the main episode and no intro.
Indeed. You can get in touch with us on social media. We're on Twitter at ABH Pod, and we're on Facebook.com/ABH Pod. We're also on YouTube.com/ABH Podcast.
Yeah, you can contact us via email as well. Do it the old-fashioned way, not the old-fashioned way, like letter. Don't do that. And use email at abhpod@gmail.com. Indeed.
This episode is one of those catch-up episodes that happens when we haven't spoken in a month. So we talk a little about a lot of things.
Enjoy.
Happy Father's Day, Anne.
Thank you very much, Tom. It's so far, it's all right. I mean,
you went to visit your dad this morning, right?
So bacon sandwich this morning, which is quite nice. We went out yesterday. Where did we fucking go? Oh, so we went to the beach yesterday, and on the way home, we stopped off at the Ashford outlet. They've got lots of new stuff there now. It was the designer outlet, where you had all the like you had Nike and Adidas and things like that, and it was all cheap gear. Now at the back end, they had things like Kurt Geiger and Rice, and
oh really?
Yeah. They've got a whole new section, like proper
brands.
high-end stuff. Yeah.
Is it still kind of warehouse?
I think like the Kurt Geiger stuff, I think that's probably where they sell their end of season stuff. So it's a bit cheaper than it would be, but it's still.
So did you pick anything up?
Yeah, I got myself a nice pair of Fred Perry trainers. They're very nice. Yeah. And they were cheaper than my latest Converse trainers that I brought.
Nice.
So you can't argue. Yeah, and Liz was like, they're only for best. They're Fred Perry. They're expensive. Like they're only best on, but they're cheaper than my messed up Converse that I'm wearing now. And she's like, but still. And I'm like, but then we could just come and get some new ones for cheap, But they're really nice. I want them. Yeah, so we went and saw my dad. Also got a Brewdog mix pack. So it's like 6 cases, basically. It's 24 Brewdogs. But I didn't realise they do like fruit IPAs as well. So
it's ridiculous.
I got a tangerine and some. What is it? Is it a berry one? I think it's like a berry one. But yeah,
the Clockwork Tangerine is
that's the one.
Good.
Is it? I've got Clockwork Tangerine, and I've got the Elvis, which is the
Elvis juice. It's like 7.4% or something ridiculous.
But I've got loads of them, and like you get their propaganda leaflet in there now as well.
Yeah.
When I say propaganda leaflet, it's like, please help us save the planet propaganda.
Yeah.
I'm okay with that.
Yeah, because they do the Lost Lager, don't they? Which is a net zero carbon lager or something like.
Well, so
for every can that's sold, they plant a tree as well, and all this. Kind of
for
stuff.
every case they sell, so for every 4 cans they plant, they're gonna. Well, they haven't started yet. I read it this morning, so I think it's in August. They're gonna start. They've brought a piece of land up in Scotland that they're going to plant a forest, but then they're going to have a lock as well. And yeah, I think so. For every beer they produce in their factories, they basically, what's the word I'm looking for? They absorb like twice as much carbon as they put out for every can.
Yeah.
So they're like a negative carbon footprint they've got, which is incredible. Like so progressive. So their Lost Lager is all of the lagers that didn't quite meet the grade. They just make into the Lost Lager. So like every can of Lost Lager you drink might taste different. Like it's that sort of thing. I think they use some of the stuff they use, like some of the stuff that comes out the waste gets turned into like dog biscuits because it's still consumable stuff, but it's not something we'd like, but dogs would like it. So it's dog biscuits. They make a wine from all the fruits. So the fruits that they use for their fruit lagers, they turn the extracts of that into a wine. Like they're basically every bit of waste they produce is being used now. It's incredible.
They've I like them. I know they've had a little bit of controversy in the past where they tried to copyright the word punk at one point, and then went after some like really like small breweries who were doing like punk beer or something like that.
Copyright the use of the term punk when with relation to lagers and beers. But they were the original punk IPA, as they said.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know.
But
they
do
nice.
do really good alcohol, and their gin's really nice as well. The Lone Wolf gin that they do.
Actually, I'm not a gin drinker, so like, I might turn into a gin drinker. I was never like an ale drinker, which apparently
the cloudy lemon one.
Really?
That's your way in.
Oh God! Don't get me into gin, man. But like it's interesting. Like I was reading on their website as well the other day because I was telling people at work about the fact that they're a carbon negative company, and they're like, "Really?" I was like, "Yeah." So I tried to find some information online, but I don't know if they're still doing it, but I think it was in 2019. If you took 20 empty cans to a Brewdog bar, then you got a share, like a whole share in Brewdog, which I think they're now like 35 quid a share. So like take 20 cans and get 35 quid share. Like, surely
I'm not sure whether they still do that, but
now they do the punk equity thing. Like they are still sort of selling shares, but it's to help. Sort of, and they're like such an indie company. Like I still would consider them an indie company, but they're huge now, aren't they? But like, how long have they been going? Like, not very long at all.
Not obviously not compared to the big breweries. I don't know, probably 20 years or something like that. I would imagine.
So it's still.
But it was when they started to get stocked on tap in Wetherspoons that I was like, oh, this isn't really indie anymore. Like they're way bigger than you imagine.
They're like a proper company, but they still have that.
They've got that ethos, haven't they?
They've still got that the punk ethos, so to speak.
And their bars are really great as well. Like I really like going to the specific Brewdog bars.
I don't know if I've ever been to one, to be fair.
I think there's up until recently, there's been one in London, and it's basically the only one down in the southeast.
Is that the one in Stratford?
There might be more.
Or not Stratford? Is it the one by the Millennium Stadium?
No, the one that I went to is more kind of towards Soho area.
Oh, okay. What's the one that's on the River Lee? It's right by the stadium. There's a sort of like a bar, like a craft bar.
Huh? Oh, I know the one you're talking about.
It's really nice. That might be.
It might be a Brewdog one now because I think there are more of them now. But
but it's no, that was really nice anyway. But like I do like the fact that they're like, we're punk, we're an indie company, save the planet. It's kind of that kind of is sort of sort of link with the punk ethos.
It's
now,
disruptive.
It's
disruptive.
weird. It's like save the planet. What? How's
Yeah,
that punk?
it's not apathy anymore. It's
No.
positive action.
It's activism. It's activism,
Yeah,
isn't it?
yeah. Which actually,
punk
has
is
been a
punk,
thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. This show sponsored by BrewDog.
Please.
I wish.
Please.
But this came out of band practice on Thursday night.
Yeah.
I had a pack with me for afterwards.
Yeah,
because I was doing work into the wee hours that morning.
Yeah, it's one of those things. It's like I have tried a BrewDog before. I dropped Liz off, and like I read about the carbon negative thing online. So I was like, and I do sort of want to try and support those sorts of companies. I'm trying to be a bit more. Like I get really angry when we have to throw lots of food away and shit like that. Like I do.
Yeah.
So I sort of want to try and support that sort of thing because it is really important. So I dropped Liz off in town. She went for a drink with her friend Kat, and on the way home I stopped off a shop up the road. It used to be a McColl's. It's a Morrison's local now, so I've got 2 Morrison's within like 10 minutes of me. So I'm sticking up for the little guys, and I go and shop at Morrison's. But I stopped in there and I was looking at beers, and I was like, hey, that's Peroni's. It's like £5 or like £4.50 or whatever, and I saw that BrewDog Punk IPA, and I was like, nah, fuck it, I'm going to grab that. And, like £6.50, it's more expensive, but
yeah,
I know there I'm doing something good by buying that. I'm supporting an environmentally conscious company. So I tried it, and I was like, oh, that's really, really nice.
Because it's got a flavour. That's the thing.
Yeah.
Like,
yes.
The other thing about like getting into real ales and stuff and craft beers and IPAs and what have you is that there's an actual, it tastes different because it's made differently.
Yeah, it's built different. As the kids say these days, I'm built different.
Oh, is that what the kids say? Is it?
I'm built different.
Okay.
Yeah. Come on. Questioning me. I know what the kids say.
Of course you do.
Well, yeah, I've got
genuinely,
one. Good point.
I'm genuinely asking. Yeah.
All right. Oh, I thought you were taking a piss. No, right. Yeah.
No.
Yeah. So, it's like I like a Peroni. I do like those. I like the lagers. And I think you were the first person I knew that I was purely Foster's, and then I think we went to yours once, and you had like, what did you Coors Light? Did you used to drink Coors and Coors Light?
Yeah,
a long time ago.
Yeah.
But and that was the first time I had a beer that actually tasted slightly different, and I was like, oh, this is quite nice.
Foster's,
yeah. So I do quite like lagers because they're nice and refreshing. I find, but yeah, I drunk that BrewDog, and I was like, actually, and I could imagine that each can that I've got in there, each box, like the beer, the ales will all taste very different from each other. Whereas with lagers, it's kind of like it tastes like lager. It's just varying strengths of lager, like varying strengths of that flavor. Whereas I look at those cans and I'm like, they're going to taste different.
Yeah,
especially the tangerine one.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, when we started, when we were between the ages of 15 and 18, there was a limited.
It was very limited
of what you could purchase. I mean, not as limited as the generation before us, who basically had lager or
White Lightning,
or like
paint stripper.
Yeah,
the ciders, the really cheap ciders.
Yeah. And even when we were, first in pubs and stuff, it was Strongbow or nothing, maybe Blackthorn.
Yeah. But not the Blackthorn, not the flavour Blackthorn, like straight cider Blackthorn.
There was just cider, wasn't there?
Yeah,
there was no fruit ciders. I remember when fruit ciders first started becoming a thing when I was working in the bar, and like the toffee apple cider especially was just ridiculous.
Yeah.
And then it got to a point where I could only drink half a bottle because it was just far too sweet.
But the other thing as well, like when we used to go and buy our drinks from a shop, there was one shop that we could get served in. And I think they would only really serve you if you brought a WKD or Foster's. Because that's been like responsibly selling to underage children, isn't it? Like WKD or Foster's, because
And like Foster's as well.
Like, if
was
you went
always
and tried
the
to buy a
lager.
bottle of vodka, they'd be like, nah.
Nah. Foster's was always the lager that was in every pub as well. So
Yes.
you kind of like, it was like, well, I'm having a lager, so I'm having a Foster's.
I know I
because
like
don't know
Foster's.
what,
Yeah.
Yeah, Stella's too much. Like I know the reputation that people that drink Stella has.
Yeah.
And like, yeah, you know, it was in every single pub. So you just went, well, that's clearly got to be a good one, right? And then you get to like, you know, a little bit older and you start thinking like, well, you know, this whole real ale and craft beer thing has been a thing for a while. Maybe I should start, you know, sampling some of that. And then you're like, oh, things can have flavor as well as alcohol, can they? Like,
yeah, and it's not bubblegum flavor. But I think as well, the thing with that, when you're that young and like every pub sells Foster's, you know, you like Foster's. It's safe to buy Foster's, and you're like, shall I try another one? It's like, well, no, I can't. You know, I don't have enough disposable income to sample different ones, because if I don't like it, that's like £4 down the drain. Like, whereas I know I like Foster's.
Yeah. And that's it. But the thing is, generally speaking, like you mentioned, like the fact that the Brewdog stuff is a bit more expensive, but like it's just nicer. It's like anything. You get what you pay for, don't you?
Yeah.
Generally speaking. I would rather pay a little bit more and have a more pleasant experience, less of a hangover because of all the chemical shit that's in
for sure,
mass produced.
Yeah, that's true. Actually, you didn't even think about that side of things. The other interesting thing as well is in the leaflet they've got a thing where they do Brewdog and Friends. It's a subscription service where they send you 8 cans a month, but it's not only Brewdog. They like allow the smaller brewers to brew in a Brewdog brewery, and they will sell you some of theirs. So it's like they're promoting other like-minded companies that are sort of that sort of, because
they sometimes
conscious.
do little, like those things they do, they often like refer to them, they're almost like split CDs. Do you know what I mean? Like,
I suppose,
it's got that kind of flavor to it.
Yeah, it's like the two-sided single, like vinyl that, like, I know.
No Effects are massive at doing those.
And I've got one of the early AFI splits that they did with like on vinyl, where it's AFI one side and I can't remember the band's name now. On the other side, it's another band, but it's like they split the cost of producing that vinyl and sell it at shows. Like, but I suppose I never even thought of it like that. It's very punk, isn't it? They let the smaller brewers, kind of, sort of goes back to those roots. That's
what I love about their ethos. I do like that company a lot.
They have a very good marketing department. Let's just put it out there. That's what it is. Let's call it what it is, to be honest. They're too big to be doing it because they want to now. They're doing it because it's good marketing.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm just looking forward to trying. But you recommend the Tangerine?
Yeah, Clockwork Tangerine is it's a bit special, that.
All right, nice.
It's really, really nice. I used to sell them in big bottles, and that used to be my thing for a while. Like during the summer, like
if it was by yourself one, it'd be like, right, cool, I'm having one of those.
Yeah.
Nice.
It's a summertime drink. Wait until the sun comes back out again.
Oh, really? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I don't know if I can, but I'll try.
Yeah. But your dad's all right?
Yeah, he is. Yeah, we got him. I mean, because we went to Ashford Outlet to get him because he plays golf now. So we went to get him something. Okay. We got him a Fred Perry shirt just because, it's a sports shirt. So fuck it. Nice polo shirt, and it'll be nice quality. It'll good for playing golf, I would imagine. Yeah. I don't play golf. I don't know.
Yeah. Oh, nice one.
Yeah, he's good. Yeah. We have seen him a couple of times over this whole COVID thing, but not properly. And like this morning, it wasn't because we went to see him. And my sister was there as well. But then my brother and his family were coming, so it's sort of like still rule of 6 indoors, isn't it?
Yeah, unfortunately, we've got the extra month on restrictions, haven't we?
Yeah. Plus, I mean, I was coming to record as well. So
Yeah,
he's working this afternoon.
I did give you the option of
no, of course, no. Yeah, but I do want to record as well. I mean, we probably would have gone to see him in the afternoon, but he's working, so can't see him this afternoon. I'm sure we'll see him again at some point, hopefully. You'd hope so, really, wouldn't you? Oh God.
And what about you? How have you been treated this morning?
Yeah, like I say, a nice bacon sandwich when I got up.
Nice.
Yeah, it's not really been much time to do anything so far this morning, but I'm gonna whack up the projector screen, but old-fashioned makeshift way, and we're gonna watch Raya and the Last Dragon this afternoon.
Nice.
I think. Liz was like, we can watch Raya and the Last Dragon. I was like, on the projector. She was like, for fucking, I want to watch it on the projector.
Oh man,
it doesn't take much. Like, I've left the projector. Like, it's speaking of punk, the whole setup. Like,
it's a sheet hung from the.
It's actually a proper project. Well, I say proper projector.
Oh, is
screen.
it? I thought I saw it.
No. It's an Amazon projector screen. So it's like,
okay,
it's proper stretchy, good, like reflective material. But because of how it's hung, it looks like a fucking bed sheet, but it's not. But the projector itself is like, I've got a keyboard with a keyboard stand that I don't use. So the keyboard stand, I've sort of left it up like that, sort of like across. So it's almost stood up and plonked the projector on. No, there's a book and then a bit of foam and then the projector. And it's propped up on one corner on the lens cap because it's slightly crooked. Set up like fucking, yeah, for sure. Like, that's how to do it. But I've left that where it is since the football because I can't bother to take it down. But I had to take the screen down because it was in the way of the TV. But that's easy because I've got like my Billy bookcase over there, my IKEA Billy bookcase. I call it by its name because then everyone can picture it. It's in beechwood colour. It's the light one. But you've got like
strong image in my mind.
There you go. You know what you're looking at now. On one end of it, I just it's got a hook, like one of those sticky back hooks on it, and then over on the other side of the stairs, there's a sticky back hook. So the cord is literally hook, loop it around the fucking footstool there, loop it around the box down that side, and the screen's set up. It's like a 5-minute job.
Brilliant.
That's why it looked like a bed sheet hung from a wall, because essentially it is.
Oh man! So you watched the football the other night, did you? What, the England-Scotland game, was it?
Yes, yeah, it was worth the effort of setting that up. That was.
Yeah, I got the rest of my Adamant documentary the first pass of the thing done, and then I did the full intro bit edited completely with all sound effects and things. I just couldn't be asked. Like, it was on because. Yeah.
While you read it. It was on whilst you read it.
I'm not a huge fan anyway.
No, but I'm not. But the international games you do, especially like England, Scotland, you kind of have to, don't you?
Yeah. Well, the only reason we had it on is because Jo had a thing with one of her English classes, and they were going to do like a little live Teams chat throughout. So like that really was the only reason that we were watching the football the other night. But I'm like 0-0, fucking hell.
I mean, see, now as a household we're kind of split on the result because 0-0, it wasn't exciting. Like compared to the previous game, England weren't much. I think like Scotland were all over us. Like from what I can understand about football, like Scotland did play the better game. I think we got lucky. So it's sort of disappointing. But on the other hand, Liz put a £10 bet on the draw.
Oh really?
And won 50 quid. So it's like,
oh, fair enough. Yeah.
Right. Pretty decent. If only we could have done a correct score 0-0, and it probably would have been a hell of a lot more money. But 50 quid, she's up. However, now she's addicted, I think.
Well, yeah, no, thing is,
because she was like, let's see what bets are on the next game. Like,
this is the downward spiral. You must stop it immediately.
I have to. But I brought myself a projector, so I can't really until
you don't have a leg to stand on.
So in actual fact, she's still better off than me.
There's some interesting stuff within our friendship group at the minute of people like buying things that they shouldn't be buying.
Yeah,
I've got a 22-inch bass drum down in the pod at the moment because Corky's decided to buy a drum kit.
I don't think she listens. I think you're fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And not tell his wife that he's bought a drum kit, but that I've given him a drum kit because my drummer is going off on a holiday and has given me a drum kit.
So now,
I'm implicit in this against my wishes.
Right. So he's not hiding it. He's lying.
He's not hiding it anymore because I don't know if I should tell the story. She filled out something wrong and they got more money for child benefits than they were entitled to, and then they had to pay it back. And so Corky now has got something over her. And he's basically said, if drum parts start appearing in the house, you can't complain.
Oh my God.
This is what he said to me anyway.
Wow.
Yes. But he's not told her that he's bought it. I've given it to him because my drummer has gone off on a holiday and I got the drum kit off him. But I didn't know that I was going to be implicit in this until he told me after the fact that he'd bought the drum kit.
Wow. Jesus. All right. Fair enough. Oh, that's brilliant. But I think.
But the drum, the bass drum is like 2 inches too big to fit into either of our lofts. So.
Oh, the loft hatches and. Oh, okay, right.
Yeah, because he brought that down to me because it wasn't fitting in his loft.
Right.
I measured my loft hatch. It's not big enough, so it's down in the pod at the moment.
So basically, what I'm imagining now is this bass drum gets delivered, or he picks it up.
Yeah.
When she heads out to work, he's there trying to frantically jam it in the loft before she turns up, and then he's like, "Fuck, it doesn't fit," and then rushes down to you.
Yeah, basically
before she gets home from work.
Yeah, bringing Olivia with him.
Amazing.
By the way,
now she's complicit as well, though. Don't tell mummy.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, I mean, he ordered the cymbal kit, the all the cymbals and stuff off the internet, and he was going to get it posted here.
Yeah,
before.
That was a whole. I saw that chat in Facebook. Yeah, was the fact that he put the wrong address in.
And then he got it sent to his house.
Or was that the snare drum?
That was the cymbals.
Yeah.
So we get a message in the group being like, I've sent it to my house accidentally. Are you able to go to my house and pick it up from my porch where they've left it? So that, because Rebecca was going to get home before him or something and she'd have found it otherwise. Jesus. And like when he came over with the drum, I was like, you've got to come clean about this. Like,
I can't be storing your drum kit again.
Yeah, I'm like, that wasn't necessarily the problem because he didn't bring the whole kit with him. It was literally just the bit that you couldn't fit into the, but no, he did say like, and then he told me this story and I was like, fucking hell, like that's the level that you're going to.
But yeah, I mean, literally Liz was asleep on the sofa and she woke up and went, I've done a thing. Like I was on it straight away. She went, what? So ordered a projector. For fuck's sake. I know. But it's really good. It's cool and it's for us, clearly. Yeah. We can enjoy it as a family. And it was good. It is good. Like I've enjoyed setting it up. I mean, I tested it. The first things I tested it with, because I set it up, made sure it worked. The first thing when I made sure it worked was just like a couple of anime things off of Netflix. And then when I set it up for the football, so like in what would be its final place, once I'd got the Bluetooth module so I could use the soundbar, it was Avengers and Star Wars. Just clips from Avengers and Star Wars because
why not?
It has to be. And it's great. It's like sitting in a cinema in my living room because that's what a cinema is. It's a projector and a soundbar. That's great. Yeah, I mean, and you know, our other halves are just as bad. Like Liz, I mean, like Joe was like, I know it was a birthday present, but also it was like, here's an electronic drum kit.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you're like, what? But thanks.
Yeah.
And then Liz was like, so when Liz went to Asda, I went to the range to use their toilet because the Asda toilets were closed. So I went to the range. And while I was in there, I thought, I'll look for some like dowling rods and shit like that. And I looked around, I came out and I had things. She was like, what's that? I was like, it's for the projector screen. She went, for fuck's sake. And I was like, what's that? Because she went in for some like underwear for Chloe, and she came out with like a pair of jeans for Chloe. And like, so it's just, what's that? It's like, what's this? What's that? Like, you do the same thing. Like,
yeah, Joe often
will be like, yesterday, she was like, oh, it's my makeup. I'm like, what makeup? She went, don't Klarna, so it's okay.
Now that I work from home, I realise the amount of things that Joe buys on a monthly basis. Like, you know, it's become a thing in the last year or so where, like, she'll say, "Oh, I've done something," and my instant response is, "What have you bought?"
Yeah,
because it's always something like that. Yeah,
I door knocks every day. Like, I think we're on first name base terms with like half of our delivery drivers. It's that sort of thing now. Like,
yeah, I see the local DPD man. I saw him when I was out running the other day, and he waved to me.
Yeah. Is that right, Tom? Yeah. House show.
All right. At work, you know.
DPD man.
Buying shit.
See you later, DPD guy. I don't know your name. Like,
God. Because I'm not the one ordering, so I don't get the email saying so and so is so many stops away.
Oh, it's great. But yeah, it's too convenient, isn't it?
Far too convenient.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, it did get to a point sometimes where I'm like, I want to buy this. What day is it supposed to be coming? Right. Am I at home that day? Is Liz at home that day? No, she's not. Cool. I'll buy it. So it turns up when she's not here. You plan your purchasing days around like delivery times. It's fucking shocking, isn't it? Everyone does it, you know. And it's silly because like we sort of, the way we manage our money is we do allow ourselves a certain amount of spending money anyway that we can buy stuff with. It's probably not like £130 projector money. I mean, that's the thing. The projector itself as well. Like because like people are listening like £400-500 for a projector. Like it's like one of the cheaper ones on Amazon that's like 130 quid. Like, which yes is still quite a big chunk of money to spend in one go, but it's not bank breaking. But it's not like a proper Olympus or Canon like £500-600 like 4K projector. It's like a 720p, good enough for a like 15, 16, 17 foot living room. Like it's not. Yeah. You're not going ridiculous out into the garden and projecting it off, you know, hanging a sheet off a tree or something. Yeah, no, and our garden's not that huge anyway. But I mean, like, probably if England do get to the final, we are probably gonna, if it's nice weather as well, it's got to be nice weather. We'll probably hang it from the shed, and we've got like somewhere that I can set it up to sort of project down onto the shed and have like people sat in our garden, because we can have up to 30 people in a garden. So like, we're going to project it on, hang the screen from the shed and project it so we can have people in the garden watching the football, you know, make an event of it if they get into the finals. So it's one of those projectors that you can do that with because it's small enough that you can just move it about. Yeah. Cool. Yeah. Speaking of projectors, I went back to the cinema this week as well. Yes. I'm due my first trip soon. Yeah, I went to watch A Quiet Place Part 2. How is it? Yeah, I really enjoyed it. I enjoyed the first one as well. So yeah. So, I didn't. No, John Krasinski and Emily Blunt, like comedy actors. Like what? Yeah. Well, what's that about? But the first one is fucking amazing. Yeah. And this one kind of it starts from day one of the invasion, so you get to see. So it's like a prequel. What happened? Well, no, it's not. But then, like after that first bit where you see what happens, right, to kind of cause the thing,
then it switches to directly from the end of the first film.
Right.
Like,
Okay.
it
So
literally-
you do see the start of it, and then
Yeah.
and literally after she's just like destroyed.
Shot that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fucking
Like, it literally opens
Demogorgon.
with the boy doing that,
Oh wow.
which is one of the final shots
Oh, that's cool.
of the first film, and then it continues from there. Cillian Murphy is really good in it.
I can imagine, yeah.
And but it's much more about the daughter this time round, because obviously by the end of the first one, she's got a weapon against the monsters. And it's just it's kind of hasn't expanded the world massively, but there's some stuff in it that it's surprising.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no, I'm quite looking forward to that, because we did really enjoy the first one. Like, we didn't because the thing, I know it's what's the other one where it's sort of like the Sandra Bullock one that's similar, where they have to be really Bird Box. Like, I haven't seen that either, but they came out around the same time, didn't they? Or
they did, yeah. They were,
and they're similar.
Close.
They're similar concepts, but if I know rightly, Bird Box is one where it's not necessary. You do have to be quiet, but you can't look at the things, can you? Which is why they had the bandages on.
The only thing that I know is that, like, she had to get from one place to another with a bandage across her eyes or something. Yeah. And then there was that whole Bird Box challenge, wasn't there, where people were doing dumb shit blindfolded.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Or I blocked that out of my mind. Rather than forgot about
sorry.
it. But like A Quiet Place, I've mentioned it on here. There's that period of time where closed. Like, can we watch horror film? Can we watch and every week we were sort of watching a new one. That hasn't happened for a while now. She watches them on her own with her mates. But yeah, we watched Quiet Place was one of the ones we watched, and I was really surprised how much I did enjoy it. So I'm quite interested to see the second part. I mean, I think the first film we're probably going to watch at the cinema is Black Widow. I think when we go back to cinema, that'll be the one that takes us back, although it's on Disney Premier Access and I've got a projector, so that'd be cheaper to do it at home.
Got to get your money's worth out of that projector now.
Mate. Yes, I do. Got to justify the spend, which is why that's kind of why I want to make like my own sort of roll up, so it's easier to set up, so I'm more likely to use it more often.
Makes sense.
Because at some point I'm going to be like, I can't be asked to go through all this process. I just watch it on telly. So I sort of want to, I've got to try and find something that will really benefit from the sound bar as well. But Black Widow, I do really, really want to go and see that. I read this morning on the news, and it was something that I was vaguely aware of a couple of years ago, but completely forgot about it. But they've done this, what do they call them? Test screenings of The Matrix 4.
Right. Yeah. I knew it had been made or was in the process of being made. I didn't realize that they'd finished shooting it.
Yeah. Apparently it's out in December.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I can't remember the title of it now, because somebody basically put on Twitter that they went to see the test, because they've been keeping it's Lana Wachowski. It's not actually the Wachowskis. I think it's just Lana.
Oh, is it? Okay. Yeah.
And they were saying, like, funnily enough, people are going to be divided on it.
You don't say.
Where's the news? Matrix 4 test screening reveals a verdict on Lana Wachowski's long-awaited sequel plus title. Yeah. So it's going to be called Resurrections, The Matrix Resurrections. Right, so you got Reloaded, Revolutions, Resurrections. It's got like Keanu Reeves and Carrie-Anne Moss are back in it, which I didn't realize. But it's, apparently they're saying it's more... Neil Patrick Harris is in it.
Christina Ricci.
Oh, always like to see her. Jonathan Groff.
Indeed.
But it's... where is it? They said it's more akin to... What other films did Lana Wachowski do recently? I can't find the article that I read it. So
Jada Pinkett Smith's back.
Yeah, so the person said it's meta engrossing, surprisingly funny, ambitious to a fault.
Yeah.
And predicted
well, I think that was, you could level that at most of the Matrix films, can't you? Ambitious,
apart from the first one, which is just a masterpiece.
Yeah.
Despite what Charlie says. But yeah, he said, and he predicted that reactions will be wildly mixed. And the people who will love it. This is definitely the work of Cloud Atlas Lana Wachowski, not Jupiter Ascending Lana Wachowski. Which sounds good enough to me.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of enjoy.
So when they say Cloud Atlas Lana Wachowski, do they mean like it's going to be very racist and like sort of whitewash the ethnic characters? That was Cloud Atlas, wasn't it? Yeah,
I believe so. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you know, it's an ambitious novel to try and turn into a film anyway.
It's incredible though. Like the book,
yeah.
I absolutely loved it.
I never read the book.
I got lost at so many points, but I loved it. It's so interesting.
I mean, it was tough enough watching the film, not having any knowledge of the book and trying to figure out what the hell was going on.
But I think that's good because that's how you feel reading the book as well. Like you don't understand it, and then there's a point, and I imagine, because I haven't seen the film, so there's a point where I imagine in the book and I imagine in the film, you go, oh, and you sort of realize what's going on. Yeah,
I think that's the case. It's been a long time since I've seen it, but there's a point where you're like, oh, there are different timelines.
Yeah.
Right, okay.
Same people, different times. Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
But so I mean, I wasn't looking forward to it, but I guess I am now because I didn't realize it was coming so soon.
I'll be interested to see. I will go and see it.
Yeah.
Just because I think I saw all the other ones in the cinema.
You have to, I think.
Yeah.
I think it's one of those. It's one of those franchises where it does benefit from the big screen.
Yeah. Oh, definitely. Yeah.
Just because they're always such a spectacle. Although, like Reloaded and Revolutions were not the best films in the world by a long shot. Like just the spectacle of it, the amount of work that went into it. I mean, like the Burley Brawl was just amazing. Like that.
Is that the highway scene?
No, the Burley Brawl is all of the Agent Smiths in the rain. Right. I believe it's the one in the rain, not the one in the park. It's the one in the rain where they.
Yeah, the one in the park wasn't good.
No, because it was daylight. The effects do not hold up.
No,
but
they didn't even really hold up at the time. That's the thing. Like I remember watching it at the time and being like,
But no, the scene where they're in the street in the rain and it's dark and you get that slow motion punch and you just see Hugo Weaving's face. Just that was incredible. And the fact that to get the rain to show up how they wanted it, they had to like specially make this rig to have bigger drops of rain. And it's like the shit they did for those films was just insane. Built a fucking 5-mile piece of freeway or whatever.
So that they could have an actual fight going on top of across.
But they didn't want to waste time having to reset for everyone to come back, so they were able to move the wall to the other side. So all it was just insane.
Yeah.
It didn't look like the same piece of freeway. Like what? What?
It's one of the last real kind of physical, as well as like it was a real kind of mix, wasn't it, of physical and
there was a huge amount of CG
generated effects.
But like they and I think that scene definitely benefits from having the practical, like all films that have practical, like the new Star Wars trilogy, say what you want about them, the practical effects in it just make it so much better. Actually, that's something I did watch because I'm slowly making my way through it. I've now watched the 3rd episode of The Mandalorian.
Okay.
Of the first series. I watched it
of the first series
because the projector was set up. I watched it on the projector.
Sure.
And it is getting a bit more interesting. Like the first episode, I was just kind of a bit meh about it. The second episode, I was like, I felt like a lot of that time was wasted. The second episode, because Mando goes to that planet, meets the mechanic or something. And it doesn't actually do anything. Like, so he goes to the planet, doesn't he? And then the Jawas just dismantle his ship.
Yeah.
And then, like, a majority of the episode is taken up of him going to get an egg from this creature to get the Jawas to get his ship, build his ship, and then carry on with his journey.
Yeah.
And it seemed really wasted. Like, it was a waste of an episode.
That was the point where I very nearly didn't bother after that, if I'm honest. Because again, like you, I was like, "This is what is the point in this? Where's it going?"
It didn't, like, there was filler. Like, he could have just carried on with his journey, but no, he stopped on this planet. And yeah, like 90% of it was just him going to get this egg, to get his ship parts back. Yeah. And it's like, once he got his parts back, the very next scene, his ship was rebuilt. It's like, what? Like, what happened? Like, I just don't. Yeah, I didn't see the point in that episode at all. But yeah, the third episode where he goes and gets his new armor built, and then ends up saying, no, actually,
kind of learn a little bit more about the lore.
Yeah, this is the way. This is the way. And when he goes, basically goes to get the child back. Like, you know, it's kind of cool. Like, you see it coming from a mile. Well, if you've ever, if you know anything about, like, if you've been on Twitter at all, you know he sticks with the kid, because that's what the fucking series is about. But yeah, it was really cool. I enjoyed it much more. The third episode, so I will give the fourth one a go as well, for sure.
And I think, like, when you get to the second series as well, like, the second series it builds even more the world and the universe. And what I love about it is the fact that it is a lot of it is still quite physical, and it's got the feel of the original trilogy as well.
Have you seen the technology they use for the external, like, big shots where they're, like, in the desert and stuff? Have you actually seen?
No, I've not.
It's absolutely insane. So basically, you know how they do, like, in camera. So, you know, if you've got a green screen, then you can have a camera tracked in real time, and you can kind of visualize where somebody is in the scene. And like Avatar, where you move the camera through the scene. This one is really fucking weird how they do it. It's like a big projected backdrop, like in, like, the almost surrounds. It's like a big stage where the actors are, and it's got some physical props. And as they're moving the camera, the background projected on the screen changes. So where you see him standing out in a desert or walking through a desert and there's stuff, like, that's all in camera. Like, that's not replacement.
Oh, really?
That's not replacement. That's not CG. I mean, it's CG, but it's actually captured in camera, because as they move the camera, it changes the perspective and stuff. Like, honestly, you have to look up how they do it. I can't remember what the stage is called, but it's this new technology that's just, man. I'm going to try and find the name for you. So
yeah, I should start looking at these documentaries that they put out, because they do seem like, you know, worth watching. Definitely.
I can't remember what they call it now, but honestly, I've just typed into Google Mandalorian stage, and there's, like, pictures of it, and there's a YouTube video, ILM VFX channel. It says the virtual production of the Mandalorian. It's insane, like, how they do it. It's just so clever, and because it, like, the way the camera's tracked, even, like, you know, if it just sort of turns slightly, not actually moves around but turns, then the background will shift slightly to change your perception of what you can see. That's bonkers. Really clever. It's absolutely bonkers how they do it. But yeah, and like, I've watched videos where they say, and again, it's from Corridor Digital, because they spoke to some of the people that were involved in it, and they say, like, it's really good because you can have, like, a prop in the scene, and as they're filming, they go, oh no, that's the wrong color, can you change the color of that? And they'll change the color, and then they'll shoot that scene again, and it'll have a slightly different colored prop, like, in the background. It's like, like, it's so good. It's so good.
Okay. Yeah, I've got to start watching those documentaries, because it does seem like, you pick up a hell of a lot
yeah,
more.
I mean, yeah, you'll see it all on the Disney Channel. They have like the Legend series for Marvel. They'll have stuff for the Mandalorian as well, like the behind the scenes on the Mandalorian. But it's just so clever and fascinating. Like, because the thing is, where you probably, I know, like in the past, you like films, so you're interested in the making of films. But now you've got this background where you've done like journalism on engineering and technology. You've probably got more of an interest in how it works now, anyway, which you didn't have before.
Definitely. I mean, one of the last big conferences I went to, they had one of the guys from they had a Disney Imagineer on talking about making the Millennium Falcon part and the ride for Galaxy's Edge.
Yeah,
so that was really, really, and he was talking about like the design and how they came to actually build the whole of Galaxy's Edge, and how there's like all the infrastructure and how they have to hide all the infrastructure within bits that look like the Star Wars universe, you know?
Yeah, so like you have the speakers around the park, but they're incorporated into the props, so they don't look like speakers, but they are. Yeah. I mean, they've got bits about that, like Imagineering documentary on. That's where my TV is, over there. I'm nodding for those who are listening. I'm nodding with my head, sort of like over there. We had a discussion this morning how me and Liz have started picking each other up on that, how we gesticulate when we're talking. But yeah, on the Disney Plus, they've got the Imagineering sort of documentaries and stuff, and they do have a bit about Galaxy's Edge and how they came up with that. There's just so much. The Disney Plus is just incredible. Whether you like Disney or not, if you're interested in like engineering or technology and shit, there's all that on there as well, and animation especially.
There's a really great documentary on there that we watched a little while back, the Breaking 3 or Breaking 2, which was about the world record attempt to break the marathon
the night
record.
Yeah.
I mean, it wasn't the official one that became
no, because
I mean, I know they're not official records anyway, but it wasn't the one where he didn't quite break it, did he? But he's done it by
like 20 seconds or something.
Yeah, but he's done it since then. They went to somewhere else in the Middle East, I think, and actually did do it.
Yeah, it's like he ran a sub 2 hour marathon, but it's not an officially recognized world record because of because he has paces. Yeah. So because he has paces, it's not an official world record.
Or paces all the way around as well, because you can have paces for the first few miles or the first half of a marathon.
But they switch out, don't they?
Yeah, It's really, really clever. Like, you know, the science behind it is amazing, really. You know, where they're looking at diet and they're measuring his, you know, each of the athletes' body types and the way that they train, and they look at everything in such minute detail. To try and get this record, it's incredible, really. I mean, I remember catching the end of the one that he just missed out on. I caught the end of that on TV, and it's just like, wow, like people going mad. Yeah, it's such a shame though, but it's fucking. He missed out on it by like 20 seconds. Oh, what a shame. Fucking hell. I missed out on it by about even like the
4
guys
hours.
who didn't get anywhere close to it were still massively under the record for a marathon anyway.
Yeah. Like, I mean, to put it in perspective, he could have done like that could have been like 2.5 times by the time it took me to run one. Like, no, not 2.5 times. Sorry, 3. Because mine was like 6 something. Like my last one. My first one was 5 something, so not quite 3. You know, slacking. But he could have run it like 3 times in the time I did it once.
It's incredible, isn't it? When you actually think about the speed that these guys can run.
It's
and like constantly as well for 26 miles. It's crazy.
Yeah, I'd struggle to keep up that pace for like 3 miles, and do it for 26. Oh well. I was just looking on like Facebook stories, and sometimes you get like the Lad Bible comes up, and it's like Brendan Fraser makes a rare public appearance and looks different because he was at a premiere for, I think, No Sudden Moves, I think is his latest film, but he's going to be starring in a film called The Whale, where he plays like a 600-pound recluse or something, like a big guy. But it's just, I read like I don't know if it's that film or another film, but I read the name of the director, that when you say his name, it sounds like you're saying it with a speech jammer on. Darren Aronofsky.
Oh, right. Yeah.
I just read it as like Darren Aronofsky. So it just sounds like you got a speech jammer on when you're saying his name. But yeah, it's based on a play, apparently, this film. It's about a guy who's estranged from his daughter when he comes out, and then his partner dies and he turns to compulsive eating or something. Sounds like it'd be a pretty fucking dramatic film.
Yeah, I mean, Darren Aronofsky does do these kinds of films. He was the director of Black Swan.
Oh, okay.
Mother. Yeah,
I don't think I've seen Mother, but Black Swan, yeah.
Yeah, quite dark psycho dramas, I guess.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean, you don't really see Brendan Fraser in that anymore, do you?
No, I mean, ever since like the Mummy films, really. I think
Sort of
those are the
typecast.
last big films that he did. Yeah, I think he was a bit.
I mean,
yeah, I don't know the ins and outs of it. But...
California Man, which our stateside friends will know as Encino Man.
Yeah.
But he's in the Jews. Yeah. Paulie Shaw. The Mummy. Did you ever see him in? What was the time travel one he did with Alicia?
The Time Machine. Oh,
no. The other time travel one. Yeah, not the Time Machine, not that time travel one. The other
with
time
Samantha
travel.
Mumba.
Yeah. No, the one with Alicia Silverstone.
Yeah, no, I can't think of the name of it. I think I know the film you're talking about, but I don't think I've ever seen it.
Yeah, I did.
The other one that he was in, the only other film I think I've ever seen him in that I'm aware of is George of the Jungle.
Oh yeah, I forgot about Blast from the Past is the one I'm thinking of.
Oh, that's it. Yeah. No, I never saw that.
I watched it.
It looked like good fun.
Yeah, I seem to remember liking it. It's essentially it's California Man.
Okay.
In the sense that rather than getting frozen in a block of ice like Prehistoric Man, he's from like, I want to say like the 40s, 50s, 60s, something. And then there's like a false alarm air raid, and he goes down into his bomb shelter with his family, and then they live there for like 40, 50 years or something. And then obviously this family that moved into the house never looked in the air raid shelter. And they just lived there and then they came out like 30 years later or whatever. And he has to adjust to modern life. Like, it's California Man. But, it's good fun. It's one of those harmless films. You don't really have to pay much attention to when you're watching it.
Yeah.
Anyway, who knew this episode we were going to talk about Brendan Fraser? Who knew?
Yeah.
Who knew?
Yeah, exactly. That's what I like about these things. Just trying to think of what else I've been up to recently. I've had a bit of a weird week. Yeah, band practice has been good fun.
Yeah.
Well, with two of the bands anyway. Yeah. Looking forward to recording with Swamp Stomper next month.
Yes.
And really enjoying playing with you guys as well.
It's been really good. It's been really good. Yeah. I've funnily enough, I did actually pick up the guitar and, excuse me, I haven't done that for years. And been, learning one of the newer songs we were talking about as well, which I haven't really done recently. Oh yeah, this week as well has been busy for me. Like, for some reason, I've decided that now I want to go to the gym 3 times a week because I didn't go yesterday in the end. Before work, so at like 7 a.m, which has been really good actually. Like I felt like I had a really good day. Like I get home and I feel like ready to go rather than just sort of dragging myself out of bed. Like
Yeah.
The last few
This
years,
is why
I've had
I tend to go
difficulty.
running in the morning.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I used to when I was training with the marathon. It used to be a regular thing was early morning. But I've been finding it really difficult to sort of exercise in the morning. But I think having this gym membership, going to the gym, sort of makes it easier. Like, there's no way I'd do it at home. Yeah, and studying and climbing. Going to the
it's
gym,
not
I've
like
really
you
noticed the
aren't-
difference with climbing as well, though. That's the thing. Yeah, I
Right.
know I'm definitely a hell of a lot more active than I have been for a long time. Yeah, it's been good. Sort of looking forward to stuff opening up again. We've got, so the weekend that you're recording with Swamp Stomper, we've got our first proper event that we're going to. Our friends are getting married.
Yes.
And I believe we're on the list that they're going to, because I think it's still, so it's not, the guidance is a bit strange. So it's,
because we've got an extra month of restrictions, except for weddings, where there is no cap on attendees now.
there is,
Right?
the cap is, there's no hard cap. So it's not like 30 guests now. The cap is as many guests as the venue can safely accommodate whilst maintaining social distancing for guests and staff. But you're still not allowed to get up and dance.
Yeah, which is really screwed over a lot of function.
But are you allowed
bands,
to mingle and mix in tables, or do you just have to sit at the table? Like, I don't know what you can do.
How is it going to be policed? I mean, weddings are generally,
a bit like Leicester Square at the weekend with the on Friday with the England-Scotland game.
Yeah.
That's horrific.
I can't see it happening. I mean, our friend Graham was in a functions band and does weddings and had a couple lined up for the summer, but now it looks like he won't be able to do that because there is no dancing allowed.
Yes, I don't understand.
And also the other band that was in the practice rooms on Thursday night, they were also saying about, like, they had a wedding that they were doing next week or something, and that's been cancelled because they can't do it anymore. Sure. And various things, like they had another gig that the poster had been drawn up and now it's been cancelled, and it's just it's a pain in the ass. Which is why I'm glad that, what we're doing with High Frequency, we're not planning on doing anything live for a year or so anyway.
And if we do, it's
at this point.
I mean, I think the only two that we know, the only two that are on the table, I mean, there's one definite and there's one possibility, and they're both private functions anyway. I know, like weddings, yes, they're private functions, but they're private functions of people we know. Like it's within our circle of friends and family, so it's not. And
also, by this time next year, hopefully, it will.
We'll be the best function band out there, mate.
And there'll be no limits on the amount of people that can meet indoors and all that kind of stuff. In the end of 2022, you'd hope.
I still think, right, and I was thinking about this on the drive home, because at the minute we're sort of focusing mainly on covers. I still think when we go somewhere as a covers band, we shouldn't be called High Frequency. We should be called Low Level Hum.
Yeah. I think we had this conversation, didn't we, recently?
We did. The first practice, we had this conversation. But I feel like, if we're going to go to a place where we can play originals and stuff, we're High Frequency, who play covers. If we're going purely as a covers band, we are Low Level Hum.
I do like the idea. I don't know whether I should set up separate accounts or just put / Low Level Hum.
But there are bands that do have that now, and that you do the covers to sort of fund the or you do the function band to fund the sort of recording and stuff of the band proper, the original so to speak. So to speak. I know it's a conversation to have.
I'd like to do some 20-minute original slots here and there as well if we can, because
I feel like that's a question we should always ask. Like, if we're going to play, obviously, one of our functions, we're definitely going to be High Frequency. One of them, we're going to have to play the covers, but I'm pretty sure they'll allow us to play one or two originals. But if we ever book into like a pub or something like that, it should be, do you mind if we chuck in a few originals here and there? Like, it should always be a question we ask.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
And do you know what? If it is like a 20-minute set of us, we can have that joke where we play the first set as the covers band and go, and our mates at High Frequency will be on in a second. We'll go and get changed and come back as High Frequency.
Yeah. I like it.
Just definitely. A little bit. It's just stupid. Yeah.
Yeah.
It'll get
it's
old
all good
pretty
fun.
quick, but we got I've recorded. I stuck my phone up and we recorded like the last couple of songs that we were practicing. I don't know if we're gonna. That's just for us, I suppose, for the time.
Yeah. I was gonna. I don't really.
No. Yeah, no, I don't know.
No.
Yeah. But I'm sure
what's always slightly frustrating is you start recording something and then you start making mistakes because you're being recorded. That's the problem.
Yeah.
But also, I showed Jo that, and she was like, "Oh, that's my least favorite of your songs."
Which one?
Free Spirit.
Oh, really? Oh, okay.
She's not into that one, so I had to fast forward it to leaving home, and then she had that stuck in her head for the next day. So
I'd start playing it, and Liz just started singing along as well. It's just so catchy. And it's really fun to play as well.
It is.
Really
I'm surprised that within only a few. So do I.
Yeah.
I don't know what a problem is. It's interesting that those original songs are in there still. All the muscle memory has basically come back. We only have to play it through once and we're like, oh, okay, and then straight through.
Yeah. We did play them for a long time, a lot of times.
We did, yeah. So. It's unsurprising, really, but after so long of not playing them,
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
I mean, let's not pretend that when we pick up our instruments to practice, we don't practice those songs anyway, like to play those songs anyway.
Of course.
We always do. But not all of them, and like the ones that we don't play, like this week we did on TV, which we didn't do the first time.
Yeah.
And there it is. We did it.
I'm not entirely sure we ever played that live more than about 5 or 6 times.
Yeah.
Because it was really close to when we recorded the album, wasn't it? And the album was only out for a little bit before we broke up.
What are you going to do? Yeah. But it's it is interesting how that stuff, like that, how that works. But it's like everything, isn't it? It's like lots of things are the same. You never forget how to ride a bike.
Yeah.
Even when you smash into a big iron door. You never forget how to
ride. My brakes were shot. I had to stop somehow.
Yeah. And I always think, but there's a grass verge, but it's not. It's up it's.
Yeah, you've got to go up a pretty steep hill. I'd have come off over the handlebars doing that. Still.
Yeah. Softer landing though.
Yeah.
No, but anyway, yeah. But I suppose apologies for the previous episode. What you're gonna do? There's a mouse in the house.
Oh yes, yeah, of course. That's what I was supposed to be asking about right at the very beginning.
Yeah, nice.
What happened there? It's not shown its furry little face anytime since.
Nope. No. So behind. So we live in a prefab house, and there's a wall basically in the center of the house, and it's got like conduit channels in it. That's like a wooden wall that's got channels for cabling to go through. I'm gesticulating again. I can see you smirking. Just in case you don't know what a conduit channel looks like.
Yeah. It goes up like that.
Yeah, exactly. No, it's not that way. It's that way. Very good, Liz. Because that's a dowel. That way.
Yeah.
That's the conduit channel that way. Fuck's sake. So and there's a bit open where the fridge is plugged in. I'm for your benefit, but the plug socket where the fridge plugs in, there's a bit of a hole. I'm like sitting on my hands now. There's a hole where the wiring goes up. So I mean, we know it went under the fridge, so it could have gone up one of the channels into the ceiling. It could have gone under. Like I had the fridge pulled out, I had the washing machine, the tumble dryer pulled out, I had all the kickboards, like at the floor level under the cupboards pulled out. Couldn't find it at all. There's where our water comes into the house. There's a hole in the floor, so it could have gone down there. It could have gone into a cupboard and was hiding in a cupboard and found another way. Like I don't know. It never made an appearance. We set the cat in, and the cat just looked at me with its stupid face, like what?
What am I supposed to be
and I'm
doing?
like, you fucking brought it in here, and we're playing with it. Get it? And like, she just looked at me with a stupid face. So no idea. It never made an appearance.
Good.
We left for that whole house. We left everything for that whole day. We left everything pulled out, just in case it came out, but. Haven't seen it. It was only like a tiny little dormouse anyway, or field mouse. It was just tiny. Like Liz said, it was jumping about and shit. Like it scared her.
They're fast.
Upstairs. Yeah. Well, the one we had before, we had one in the house before that Liz had to take out, and it, like the cat was batting it about, and it was just sort of playing dead. So she had no issues with getting that one and putting it back outside, but this one, she said, like, as the cat was batting it, it was leaping in the air, which sort of put the willies, like Liz scared the shit out of Liz, because it was fast and jumping about. So, but and then it ran into the kitchen and was hiding in a corner. And when Liz went in, it shot under the fridge. So fuckers. And the thing is, it's like we can't be angry at them because they're building houses everywhere around us. Like for years and years and years, this has been farmland, like beyond us.
Yeah,
but, we've spoken about
and
it
for
before,
miles and miles around. It's like there's so many new developments going up your way. It's going to be displacing things that have up until now been living in relative harmony.
Yes, I think we've had three mice. We've had 3 mice and a bird since we've lived here.
Right.
One animal for each year we've lived here. The first year was the bird, and I told the story on here where I was laying in bed one morning and Chloe came running into my room screaming, "There's a fucking bird in the house." Little thrush it was. Bless it, little thing. Like when I managed to get hold of it, its heart was beating so fast. I mean, they do anyway because they're tiny birds, but it was just so panicked. It just flew out straight into the trees. But that was one that a cat brought in and chased upstairs.
Buggers. Yeah.
Buying us little presents, bringing us little presents home.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, look how clever I am. I caught this thing and brought it in for you.
Great.
Thanks. Yeah. Cheers. No reappearances, no scratching in the walls or anything.
No, I don't think if there's scratching in the walls, I don't think our first thought would be, oh, it's that mouse. It'd be like, fuck, what's scratching in the walls? It'd be like His House. Have you watched that yet?
No.
It's really good.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's really good. Yeah, I'm kind of sad. It was the BBC. It won a BAFTA, I think. His House. It was a horror.
Oh yes, no, I know. Yeah. I saw the kind of trailery type, the clip for it that they showed during the BAFTAs, and I was like, I don't know.
Oh no, it's incredible. It's great. Yeah. It's a bit weird at the end, but it's incredible. Yeah, I sort of took my own interpretation from it. Like if you do watch it, it'd be interesting to hear your interpretation of it. But I took my own sort of interpretation out of it. But yeah, it's very interesting. I was quite disappointed though with that mouse being in the kitchen that it wasn't a rat.
Why?
Because if it was a rat, I could have made the joke. There's a rat in my kitchen. What am I going to do?
What am I going to do?
Yeah, but it wasn't. It was a mouse.
Well, it only came to my realization about a day after I posted the episode that I should have said there's a moose loose about das Hus.
Yeah.
That's what I should have called the episode. Hootsman,
those juice about this hoose. Yeah, I only know it from the Wine Gums advert.
Lord Rockingham's 11.
Corky shared a fantastic picture in our chat around that time as well. That we might have to tweet it out with. Have you caught that rat ant?
Yeah. Yeah, it's back in the chat, isn't it?
Yeah. He sent it to my wife.
through.
He sent it to Liz as well.
Oh yeah.
She was wetting herself laughing. She saw it before me. But yeah, because it was when we were driving home from Cornwall. It's one of the pictures from Cornwall. Like he took it's a couple of weeks now.
Yeah.
We talk a lot apparently in that chat. Well, you and Cornwall do at least anyway.
Yeah, it was back a bit. Bloody hell.
Yeah, we'll find it. I'll find it.
Yeah, I've got it.
Yeah, we'll have to tweet it out.
Yeah, done. Saved.
It was funny. All right.
Mm.
I haven't spoken about Loki. That can be.
That's true.
Maybe
because I mean, we didn't really say much about Falcon Winter Soldier as well.
No, we haven't.
Which was good fun, but it didn't.
Andrew,
I don't think it deserves a spoiler cast because it's not really it wasn't mysterious enough to make predictions about. It was quite just straightforward, really.
Yeah,
it was good.
It was fantastic. Yeah, really good. Yeah, really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Loki.
I am enjoying Loki.
It's very interesting.
Have you done the second episode? Yeah.
On the big screen.
Of course.
It was set up. Yeah, no, that was really good. The second episode was definitely interesting. Yeah, I don't know why I didn't think. Can't say much
of what it was. Yeah.
Well. Yeah. It's so annoying that basically I didn't expect the variant to look like it did, despite the fact that ever so slightly before that in the same episode they allude to the fact that variants can look different.
Yeah, they basically were telling you this isn't going to be Tom Hiddleston.
Yeah, it's essentially I didn't expect it to look the way it did, and I was like, oh yeah, okay.
Well, I heard something somewhere that when he's being signed in, if you like, to the TVA, there's a form upon which it says, Loki, age. However many thousands of years, and it says gender or sex, and it says fluid.
Oh, really? Oh, okay.
Yes.
Interesting.
So, yeah, because he's a shapeshifter. We know this. He can.
Yes. Yeah.
He's got two different ways of doing it as well.
Apparently so. They're very different from each other. They're completely different things. Tom Hiddleston, fucking incredible. Yeah. And the funny
it's
part,
that smile that he does, that kind of
there's when the first episode started, I was saying to Liz, we've got to remember that this is not the Loki we know. This is bad Loki from Avengers. This is evil Loki. Owen Wilson put a stop to that. By the way, this is what happens in your life.
The bit where he breaks,
finally,
and realizes that it's completely futile,
and then he becomes the Loki that you know.
Yeah,
he's just
he kind of fast tracks to.
He's a bit shit as a He's a bit of a shit. He's not very evil. He's not actually evil. He's not very good at being evil. Yeah. It's just good.
There's some great lines. Owen Wilson has got. Brilliant, it's just he's being Owen Wilson,
and it's just we're I'm really evil. You can't. And he's like, yeah, okay, buddy. Yeah, all right. You're
what
evil.
What happened to the guy who said he didn't like talking? You actually do nothing but talk.
Yeah. It's just so good.
It is. Yeah, it's good fun.
Yeah, I'm really interested to see what happens. What the consequences of what happened at the end of the second episode.
Yeah,
I'm really interested to see what happens. It's just that bit where he's like, I was right, like that sort of joy of I was right about something. I figured it out. So good. He's like a child Because he is, I suppose. Loki's like the god of mischief, isn't he? Like, and children are mischievous, so
even
it
though
makes sense that he's
like, I don't see anything mischievous in what you're doing.
Yeah. Oh,
these aren't pranks.
Yeah.
Like taking people's eyeballs out.
Yeah.
Because it's quite interesting in that it's kind of these Disney Plus shows are almost like a look back at the characters and being like, well, we thought we know this guy or this girl or this android.
Yeah.
But actually, like, if we really go back and find out about their backstories, it completely changes who they actually are. Right.
And that does seem to be a trend with Disney at the minute. And I'm okay with them doing it with this. I'm not okay with them doing it with like Cruella.
Yeah.
Liz is like, I really, really want to see Cruella. And I'm like, no. She's like, well, why not? I was like, because you can't, there is nothing redeeming about a woman that kills puppies and skins them. Like, how are Disney going to make a redeeming character from, like, how are they going to say, oh,
it's like Maleficent as well, isn't it? You know, like,
it's like she's holding up a puppy and stabbing it and like, please don't misunderstand me. Like, that doesn't work. Like, oh, I'm just troubled. Like, no, there's no forgiving that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, Maleficent, you know, you get, like, jealous and she was treated like, it's like the way Wicked did, like, the Wicked Witch of the West, like Elphaba, like, misunderstood because she was treated differently because of the way she looked and like things like that. And like Maleficent, because of the way she looked. Cruella, it's like, how are you going to defend? And especially the fact that Disney wrote her as a puppy killing character.
Yeah.
Like, they can't redeem her. Like, that's not going to work.
It is a slightly bizarre thing that's going on at the moment. But it's just them trying to, I guess, you know, mine the depths of their back catalogue, basically. And they're like, oh, well, who could we, you know, do a film about?
I'm just waiting for Ursula.
Well, that's going to be the next one, isn't it? I guess, you know, you got to, and then maybe Hades.
Yeah.
Jafar.
Well, I mean, Hades, Greek mythology, you know.
Yeah. You've got a lot of, actually, like, to be fair,
you know.
Yeah, when you look into the backstories of those myths, they are really, really rich.
Yeah, I mean, I was listening to Stephen Fry, Gods. Is it Gods?
First one was Mythos, then it was...
Mythos is the one I'm listening. Yeah, that's the Greek mythology one, isn't it?
Yeah. And he's brought out another one called the Mythos Heroes, I think, is the latest one. And then he's going to do a humans one where he looks more at the kind of demigods and things like that. But yeah,
it's really, really interesting. There's another book that I listened to recently, and it's fiction, but there's like loose history woven into it as well, which is Son of Achilles.
Okay.
That's a really, really interesting book. That, like, is really good. It's not like, I want to say fictionalized history, but it's not, is it? Because it's mythology. So based on real people.
Based on the myth, but like,
Yeah. So it's like, it's partly that myth, but it's like a story that somebody's, you know, and it's based a lot on actual stories written about that myth as well. It's really good. I listened to it as an audio book. It's really good, actually.
Fair play.
Yeah, but if you go back to like the Hercules and things like that, there's some really good, you could get some really good Disney stories from those. I mean, that's why they use them.
Yeah.
I mean, and like Mulan, I really, really, really liked that, actually. I don't know if you've watched that. The live action one, it's the only version of Mulan I've watched. We spoke about this on Friday, didn't we? Yeah. Is it Friday? Yeah.
Yeah, Thursday.
Thursday.
Yeah.
It was Thursday. Yeah. Yeah, we spoke about it Thursday that you haven't seen Mulan or Pocahontas.
Yeah.
Possibly two of my favorite Disney films.
It's because it was at that time where I was kind of growing out of Disney and into slightly more grown up things.
Growing out of Disney.
Yeah, some people
that
do
sentence
this,
doesn't make sense. Those words don't go together, even if I rearrange them.
Some people reach an age where like cartoons with singing dragons don't really do it for them anymore.
Oh, okay. Right.
I know it's hard to believe.
It's a really weird concept, yeah.
Yeah.
Really weird. Doesn't make any sense. What's wrong with those people?
Says, the guy who's into comic books and
exactly but I under like Disney films aren't.
No, there was that teenage those teenage years where you're like, I'm not a child anymore. I watch proper things with real people in them.
There is that, but also there's that side of things. It's like it's not so much cartoons. Like you've never made a sort of secret of the fact that you don't kind of get musicals as such. Yeah, despite the fact you love music.
Yeah,
and you do like cartoons and films.
Yeah,
but ne'er to shall the two meet. Like,
yeah.
I suppose it's just that whole But like, I Mulan possibly one of my favorite Disney films. Like, and it's that Mulan and Pocahontas are those two that you could possibly say that a lot of people they weren't as successful, possibly because it was ethnic characters. Mm-hmm. That sort of ingrained sort of racism that people have in them, kind of like that princess doesn't look like me, I'm not going to watch it. If you know what I mean, like. But Hunchback of Notre Dame wasn't one of the most successful ones either. Like it was quite popular. Like, but all three of them are still popular. Like if you speak to people that do love Disney, they love those films. But
yeah, of course, in
the grand scheme of things, like as in what was globally successful, like box office hits, those films that don't fare in. I don't think Hercules doesn't either, really. But because
I think there was, I think what it was like, there was a new golden age of Disney films that kind of started with maybe The Little Mermaid and ended with The Lion King. And it was like Little Mermaid, Beauty and the Beast, Lion King, and then like Pixar happened, and you had Toy Story, and suddenly there was this new animation style that caught on, and the 2D stuff after that. Like I've seen since stuff like Princess and the Frog, and it's amazing.
It's incredible. Princess and the Frog is incredible.
But I think that was overlooked because at the time 2D animation wasn't drawing in the audiences. That was the thing. Pixar really changed the game, and then it became DreamWorks with Shrek and things like that. They were the new.
That does make sense, and I think because of the success of Toy Story, I think what Disney probably did was took some of their best animators from the 2D department and taught them how to work in the 3D space. I think that probably happened as well. So you had all these people who were really good at animation and storytelling, making films for this new studio where the money was. So it definitely makes sense. But I mean, like I say, you watch those films, like you said, Princess and the Frog is amazing, and you watch like Hunchback and watch Mulan and Pocahontas, and they're great. Even the music, like Mulan and Pocahontas, are just absolutely incredible.
Like I'm not above going back and watching these things, and I will do at some point. They're just not.
They're not at the top of your list. No,
exactly.
Sure. But I mean, you do have to be into those kinds of films anyway to want to make time to watch them, and I don't know. I really, really like them. I don't know where these conversations are going today. It's great. Bumper ramblings today.
Exactly. And it was because we took an episode off. There wasn't an episode the other week. That's why.
There's a lot to catch up on that we're forgetting about.
The other thing that is happening with me is that the first episode of a 4-episode run of a podcast called Permanent Record has been released today, upon which I talk about the Permanent Record podcast is a married couple from America who talk quite in depth about mainly synthesizer based music.
Okay.
But they've made an exception for me. And we're talking about the Joshua Tree by U2.
Oh wow.
Which is an album that I don't think I chose it, but then the guy Brian doesn't think they chose it either. I was looking to do Adam and the Ants and or an Adam Ant one, so that it tied in with what I'm doing at the moment. Band biographies. But they're not big fans of Adam and the Ants, and they only really know one or two songs of Adam Ant's solo career. So we landed on U2 and we landed on Joshua Tree just because it's one of those albums. It's an iconic album. The problem is that I've only ever really listened to the first 4 songs because they're so like the album itself is so front loaded. It's got all 3 singles and Bullet the Blue Sky as well.
Right.
So as much as I've listened to that album a few times, I tend to kind of zone out after the first 4 because the rest of the album seems like a step down.
Yeah.
What I've come to learn, of course, is that it's not. And that there's a lot in that final half of the album.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So the first episode of that is out today. And it will eventually end up being 4 episodes that I'm on over there.
Wow.
Talking
have
just
you recorded
about this one album.
So have you recorded it all already?
No.
Okay.
No, we've done essentially 2 episodes. We've got 7 songs left of the album.
So are you doing it like a certain number of songs per episode that you're chatting about? So there is a bit of a plan.
I think the first episode is basically about our histories with U2 and this album, and then the first song plus video and all the kind of things that went into the writing and that kind of thing. Then the second episode is literally 3 songs.
Wow. Bit of an epic.
Each of these episodes is about 2 hours long, I think. It's proper nerdy behind the music stuff. So if you're into that, why not check it out?
It's something that I probably would really enjoy listening to, like if I was still working at the factory and because
it's the kind of thing that is just like it's people having a conversation long form about something that's
for sure, and it would interest me because like I love listening to people speak about things they're passionate about. Like I've always said, I'm not massively into films and film history and stuff like that, but I love listening to like secret histories of Hollywood, and I love listening to Stinking Paws and things because people are like those guys know so much and they're talking in such depth about these things, and so that's definitely something I would really, really love listening to because I love documentaries and things. But I listen to 2 or 3 podcasts a week now. That's it. They and that's only if they're like an hour to an hour and a half long. Like that's it. From listening for like 7 to 8 hours a day, I'm now listening to like 3-4 hours a week. And I'm only managing to do that now because I go to the gym. So I listen to sort of 45 minutes to an hour while I'm at the gym. If I didn't listen then, I'd probably listen to 1 podcast a week. It's crazy.
I suppose your job it's one of these things that you can't you can't listen to things anymore, can you, while doing it? It's
quite distracting when I'm trying to problem solve and figure out what's wrong with something. It's quite distracting. Like I have to have, if I have music, it has to be music in the background.
No lyrics.
I mean, it can have lyrics. I just have to have it quite quiet.
Right.
But
because I mean, I find it when I'm writing, like if I've got people talking while I'm trying to write, it's it's difficult. But
But I discovered this last night while I was studying. So I stuck on a playlist, and it's like a study playlist, but it's like chart music. It's like more Billie Eilish and sort of calm chart music. Like that's studying. I can't listen to that while I'm studying. While I'm studying, it has to be instrumental. It can't be lyrics. Otherwise, I'm not taking in what I'm listening to. And interestingly, classical music is quite good when I'm studying.
Yeah. I was going to say, I came across a new artist that I think you might like. She was on, because, I know that you and I both enjoy a bit of female fronted pop music. Yeah.
It's, like the other day at work, I was like, I want to listen to Churches. and I stuck Churches on, and I was like, I love Churches. I was in the mood for it, and I was just enjoying it so much that day.
They're a great band.
So
I love
good.
that band.
Yeah, and I've laughed about them, and you were like, oh no, you should give them a go. I really like them, and I did, and I was like, oh my god, like this is so good, like synth pop fronted female,
Scottish synth
female
pop.
fronted synth pop, like brilliant.
And one of their Bury It, they did a version of Bury It with Hayley from Paramore.
Oh, I will be looking that up in a second.
Yeah, it's the video is all cartoon and mangary based, and it's pretty cool. Yeah. So yeah, check that out. But no, Holly Humberstone,
adding it to my list.
she was on Jules Holland a few weeks ago, playing her song "The Walls Are Way Too Thin."
Okay.
It's good stuff.
Oh no, bollocks! Liz is listening to my Spotify account upstairs. Okay. Right, YouTube music. Here it is then. I need to play something so it's there because I'll forget otherwise.
Yeah.
Right. Cool. She's there. Somebody I was going through a YouTube rabbit hole the other day, and there was this vocal coach. For some reason, I like watching this. There's this particular vocal coach that I like watching her react to music, and I don't know why. I just really it's odd, but she was reacting to Olivia Rodrigo.
Okay.
She did a song called Driver's License. It was massive, but she listened to one of her songs called Traitor.
Right.
And it was really good. And then I stumbled upon this music, like a producer, singer-songwriter producer, who was reacting to the whole album. And like Olivia Rodrigo, it's like she has this thing where sometimes she sounds like her music is like Billie Eilish, and sometimes it's like Hayley Williams from Paramore. Like she's this mixture of the two, but the lyrically, like the songs are just like amazing. Like the stuff she writes. There's there's a song called Happier, and it's essentially like all of them are pretty much breakup songs, but like the chorus ends with like, I hope you're happy, but not happier. Like, so it's like, I hope you're happy, but not as happy as you were. I hope you have something special, but not as special as you had with me. And like, I hope you're happy, but not happier. And it's like, wow. Like, that's such simple stuff, but it's just the way she writes it and sings it is just so good. It's so good.
This is one of the things that has become apparent to me while doing this permanent record thing, is like looking at the lyrics and forensically taking them apart. And realizing that actually Bono is a genius lyricist.
Yeah, like, and to be fair, like it's Olivia Rodrigo. It's not something like it's all there at the front. Like it's laid out there for everyone to see. It's not like some of these lyrics. Like I suppose U2, it's probably a lot of it's metaphorical and things like that. And whereas this is like it's all laid out. Like that one called Traitor. It's like it's breakup one. Like the boy was speaking to this woman, this other girl, the whole time they were together. It's like, you may not have cheated on me, but you're still a traitor. Like, or something like that. It's like, whoa, fucking hell. Yeah. It's, it's really weird. It's really strange. But yeah, Olivia Rodrigo is really good. I think you'd probably like her as well.
Okay. I've made a note.
It's crazy. Yeah, her songs as well. They're different. All of the songs on the album are different, like the way they sound.
Because we've got to find some more modern songs to do covers of anyway, haven't we?
Yeah, for sure.
It's worth keeping stuff an eye on.
Yeah, and I think, like it's got to be something in the realm of like Churches or Sigrid or Billie Eilish or, you know what I mean? Yeah. Like, there's so many songs of like Sigrid's that I'd love to do because they just seem like real fun. Like,
Yeah, absolutely.
So essentially what we're going to do is sing songs that are supposed to be sung by like late teens, early 20s females.
As ever was the case. I mean, we used to do Lady Gaga as well, didn't we, when she was properly famous?
Yeah.
But those are the things I'm looking to really enjoy working on, I think, is kind of
because
the more
it's
modern stuff.
doing a
'Cause I
cover
haven't
but
been able
still
to do
writing because
Yeah,
we're
yeah.
sort of rearranging it.
Yeah,
So it's doing a cover of a song, but we're still writing. We're still being creative with it.
yeah. Well, it's what you and I were doing a couple of years ago down in the pod for
But
like,
yeah,
the
yeah, yeah.
Patreon people, wasn't it? You know,
Yeah, because we were going to do Lewis Capaldi, weren't we?
we were reworking. We did the Witcher song. We did the No Time to Die. We did. Yeah,
I don't think we
working on
recorded
Lewis
it, but we were
Capaldi.
working on Someone You Loved.
Yeah, yeah. Which I think would still obviously
Yeah,
that
for
is
sure.
still a
Huge
decent
song.
possibility. Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, like doing something in the realm of Lewis Capaldi or Ed Sheeran. Yeah, for sure. Just got to convince Corky now.
Yeah, I'm sure it won't take much.
No, he seems very open to suggestion these days.
Yeah, yeah. So, and he's also of the mind that, like, even if we don't necessarily like those songs, being able to play them to people who do is beneficial.
Ooh, yes, so, for sure.
You know, but it's finding the songs that are popular and we do like. I think that's the key, isn't it? But also, I've found that playing songs that you don't necessarily like can be a challenge, but also rewarding at the same time.
Yeah, because you could not like the song, but then when you've reworked it, you actually enjoy it more how you do it.
Yeah.
Good.
Like,
Olivia,
I'm not a big fan of AC/DC, but I do enjoy playing their songs live because they're fun to play.
And you can perform while you're playing them.
Yeah.
Yeah, a good Olivia Rodrigo one to look up that we could potentially cover is, I think it's one of the latest signals. I can't talk today. One of her latest singles that she released called Good For You.
Okay.
That's one where it sort of like goes a bit Paramore.
Okay.
And I think the video for that is like a homage to Jennifer's Body as well.
Oh, really? Okay.
So I've heard.
Interesting. Right, made a note.
Right.
Okay. I think we've
made up for the missed episode.
Yeah. Definitely.
Yeah.
So yeah, we've covered a lot of ground today. There's loads of stuff to go, and kind of we've kind of mentioned all the films and the TV shows and the music that, you know, we should all go out and have a listen to and a watch of. So let's go and do that for the rest of the weekend.
Yes. Excellent stuff.
Until next time, I've been Tom.
And I've been Ant. Bye.
Bye.
Oh, blimey, there is a bit of a delay there.